Good afternoon and welcome to the Indie Author Show. I'm Sue Miller, your host for our fortnightly program, which is, as you know, 12 to 1 on Wednesdays every fortnight. And the Indie Author Show interviews and has conversations with local authors. And today our guest is Sarah Isaacs. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sue. Really lovely to be here.
Yes, you've come from Shropshire, so a bit of a journey today. But you know what? It's Valentine's Day and we're all just feeling the love. And we're going to talk about Derek. You've brought Derek?
We are. Derek is here waiting. Yes, he's here.
Well, Derek the Alien is and the Orange Jelly Planet, which is quite an interesting title. So we're going to talk to Sarah about her very first book, very first children's book, and how that came about and what her plans are for the future. So again, it's the Indie Author Show on Calon FM. So Sarah, we talked a little bit at the start here about Derek the Alien and the Orange Jelly Planet. So we need to, and we've got Derek in the studio today. I'll take a photo and post it on our Facebook page. He's so cute. I love his eyebrows.
Yes. He is. We absolutely love him. In fact, everybody who meets him absolutely loves him. So Valentine's Day is the right day to bring him in.
Yeah, we'll have to actually. I'll post on our Facebook page, which, if the listeners want to have a look, it is at the Indie Author Show. Just go to Facebook and you can find us with my new logo. But we'll have to post who the lady is that created Derek.
Rachel from, let me think now, it's the right way round. Sock Buddies and Crochet Creations.
Yeah,
and
Sock Buddies, that's what I look up,
Absolutely.
She's brilliant.
She is,
she's
fantastic.
Done a few of our authors' mascots, as we call them, and I have to say our mascot family is getting so big. We've got quite a few children's authors as part of Team Author right now, so and we all just met at the end of January and everybody brought their mascots. So
I think the mascots actually took over, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were all there, and I think one or two people were sort of trying to pop one into their arms and leave because they were so cute.
Well, that would be Kath Roberts.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kath. You do have a reputation.
I wasn't going to mention her.
Well, I am. To keep your eye on that one. But yeah, so I will also post that picture up there because, as I said, it seems, I think Jude Lennon kind of started it with Lammy, and then she's got all these lambs, but, and she's got Lammy and Flossie and so on, and now everybody is getting one to go with their book. But it's great because you go into schools. So this is kind of what your plan are. You are a teacher right now, aren't you?
Yes, I do teach, but the schools that I'm going to be aiming for are the schools that are going to be much younger. So it's kind of new to me to go into primary schools. Mm-hmm. I'm used to sort of secondary schools and a lot older in colleges. But so this is a new area for me, but really exciting. And as you say, when you've got a 3D crocheted version of Derek, then the children are even more excited about, holding him, and it sort of brings him to life, really. Yeah.
A little bit of crowd surfing, maybe. No.
Yeah, definitely. Are you talking about Derek or me?
Yeah.
Derek, definitely.
I was just, I'm a big rugby fan, so I just saw something on Facebook the other day where up in Scotland I don't know what they were doing, but all these people were on the Royal Mile, is it? I think it's Princess Street or something. And they were all sat there on the ground, and then people were crowd surfing them.
Really?
So I watched the video. I didn't really figure out what are they doing. Was this before or after the game, anyways? I know Jude Lennon does a lot of author visits, and the lambs are very, very popular. So, so having that mascot, as you say, it just brings the character to life.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a question I really should ask Jude, because I don't think you've not actually had your first visit, have you?
No, I planned my first visit for the school that to go to the school that my son goes to in Shropshire, in Bridgenorth, and that will be on March the 1st. So it's really good because that's
World Book Day.
World Book Day,
Perfect.
Yeah. And I thought that's going to be my very first one, and I think I've got about 4 within the month of March after that.
Oh, well done.
Really, really excited, and can't wait to sort of get down there and see the children, meet the children, and read them and share the story.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering how Jude. You have to chat to Jude to see how does she stop the kids from kind of mauling the mascot and then settling down and listening to the story. So there's probably some technique.
I think I might have to pick up on the advice from Jude, I think, or perhaps we've just got a lot of teachers around watching children.
Well, we do have quite a few, as I said, children's authors now that Emma Blanchard has been going out. I'm just thinking of the ones in Shropshire and Sarah Griffiths.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm sure you can pick their brains as to.
I think I will be. Yes, before the 1st of March. Prepare yourselves, everyone. I'll be phoning you up. So
now you got some lovely little bookmarks done as well, which we do tend to advise because children love bookmarks. It's a little nicer for them to take home than a business card. But yours are a bit different in that you got on the back side you've done the image in just kind of black lines so that the children can draw in or colour in.
Alfie Moon Designs decided to they did my bookmarks for me, and I said to them, I said, look, great having them very colourful on the one side, but can we have just the bit to colouring, because kids, in fact, I love colouring in, so I might be colouring a few of those in later, but certainly the children can colour them in and, take them home, have them in their books, and a little bit of artwork for themselves as well.
Well, that's something that we haven't done before, so I really like that. So I'm going to show that to some of our authors. So, Sarah, let's talk about Derek and how he came to life. Now, I know that you like writing poems, so did you just sit down one day and just start pen to paper and he just kind of blurted out, or?
Yeah, I think sort of over the years I've written different things, and I think also having my son Elliot over the last few years, you sort of start to write in a different way because you're exposed to different things. So obviously I'm reading children's books to him.
How old is he?
He's 10.
He's 10
Elliot
now,
is 10, yeah. So he's a little bit older now, but when he was younger I thought, no, I'd like to write. I've not written for children. I'd like to write for children. And a few years ago, one day I actually sat down and I was quiet. I was just in that frame of mind, and I thought, right, I'm going to write about an alien called Mickey. And at the end of what I'd written, I looked at it and thought, do you know, I don't like that name. I kept thinking of Mickey Mouse, you see.
Yeah.
And I wanted a really unusual name. And for some reason, out where it came from, out of the blue came Derek. Okay. And I thought, no, that fits better than Mickey. And so Derek was born, and then that was it, really. So
was it always the Orange Jelly Planet?
I have absolutely no idea where the orange jelly planet.
Well, I was going to say, does Elliot like orange jelly?
No, I can't even say that we have orange jelly all the time at home, or it just literally, I thought about him whizzing around the night sky, that he wanted a home, and that eventually he found saw this glow in the sky, and as he hadn't really got a home, he was going to land, and he found out it was made of orange jelly, and wow, he actually, in the story, he trips up and he accidentally realises that when he licks the planet, that he tastes of oranges. So he realises that this is going to be the best place to be, and invites his friends round for a big party then.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He has a big orange tummy, doesn't he?
He does, yes, absolutely. Nice big orange stomach, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, it's a lovely story, and as you say, I think kids at this age, or that young of age, they are transfixed by space. They love things, and it kind of goes both genders, doesn't it? So,
and to be honest with you, I've always loved anything spacey myself. I mean, not particularly just, watching science fiction films or anything like that, but more of the facts and the figures and the, if you kind of the useless bits of information that you read sometimes, you're like, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's always been something of interest to me. We've got a few books like that around the house. So, and they're interesting as Elliot's older now, he's obviously more interested in reading those sort of things himself. So
what's on Derek's wrist here? This purple band.
Well, the absolutely fantastically talented Lisa Williams, who drew and illustrated Derek, we discussed how Derek should look and what he should wear, and also she said, you know what, we should have some sort of space techie wristband or something. I said, brilliant, fantastic, but we haven't mentioned this in the book, this book that has been recently published. So this is going to actually feature in the next book that Derek is going to be in.
So Derek is going on another adventure.
Derek is he's got another adventure, absolutely. And I can't say too much about it at the moment, but he certainly is going to need that techie wristband.
Oh, cool.
Absolutely. So look out for that. I was going to say watch this space, but that's...
Yeah. Well, since we're on radio,
Yeah.
So I also have a whole bunch of funny-looking green things with yellow legs. What are they?
Right. Well, these are space slugs.
Okay.
And how those came about was that I said to my son Elliot, I said, because he really enjoys drawing. I'm not very good at drawing. So he loves drawing, and he said, I'm going to draw what I think Derek should be, and I'm going to draw what his planet should be like. And I said, why don't you draw something that maybe we could put into the book? Some books out there have things that, as you're reading the book, you can actually find and locate amongst the pictures hidden. So I said, why don't you do something? We came up with the idea of a space slug. So he drew a space slug, and he put the different colours in, and he said, I want the body to be green and the eyes to be yellow, and I want red spots.
Oh, so those are eyes.
Those are eyes, yeah.
Okay.
And
I see it now.
And you can see he's got a little mouth as well. So he designed this. I sent it off to Lisa, and she had to sort of make it a little bit shorter because it was quite a long one.
Yeah.
And she has now put a variety of these space slugs all the way through the book, so that when children are reading, you can try and locate and find how many space slugs there are by the time you finish the story.
Yes.
So you'd have to kind of count up, find them in the pictures. Sometimes there's more than one, sometimes there aren't any. And then at the end of the story, you can say how many you found.
Oh,
so,
I see them in the book here, and they're so cute, peeking out from all over. I'm really looking forward to seeing the next book then, Sarah. What this wristband is going to do.
Yeah.
He's just got such the cutest face ever.
Well, that's it. I think I said to Lisa when she was designing him and we were discussing it, I said, can I have him where, children and adults will look at his face and, you'll be able to sort of get some emotion from his face. So he's not an alien where he's just got one big eye in the centre of his head or lots of antennae. He's got kind of a little face that...
gorgeous eyebrows.
Empathising. Yeah. I love
big
his
ears.
eyebrows.
But because, at least when I was growing up, you always thought of aliens or like ugly, scary things. But no, this alien is so cute. It kind of reminds me of the movie E.T., where E.T. was just, you just want to cuddle him. Yeah, that's how I feel with Derek.
You want one for yourself, absolutely. So yes, we had some... we had some of the space slugs, crocheted as well. Yeah.
So that's what I was saying was in front of me, but I had them upside down. So and now I see those are the eyes.
When I go around schools, what will happen is the children will know that these space slugs are the sort of thing that get everywhere. So before they come into the classroom, I'm hoping to hide a few around the books and around the room. So they'll probably try and find out where they are.
Oh, that's good.
So we'll see how we get on with that. But
no. Silly me, had them upside down, but now I totally get it.
Right. There's about 6 of them on the desk, taking the desk over. So
we'll definitely post a photo of that. So Yeah, the orange flavored jelly. As you say, Derek is kind of whizzing around space in his rocket boosters, and he's kind of doesn't have a home,
He
right?
doesn't. No, he's too busy, almost too busy working, really.
Yeah.
So he's
whizzing around, and then he comes across this planet where he stops and he licks the planet and finds out, oh, this tastes like oranges. So yeah, it is. I think the kids will have a little bit of a laugh with it as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So hopefully, I'll probably ask them, if you had to sort of make a planet out of anything in particular. I mean, some may say ice cream, some may say, there might be a few that say apples.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody would say sprouts, but certainly
Yeah.
it's going to be your favourite thing. And in this case, it was the oranges, orange jelly.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I can't remember. My kids are now in high school, but back in primary school, they had to build, they had to make like out of paper mache. They had to make like a space or a planet or something. I'm sure they did that. So I wonder if that's part of the curriculum.
It could be. I know that my son at the moment he's doing something called they're doing Out of This World, so they're doing a little bit about space and what have you. So yeah.
So you might be inspiring of some orange jelly planets.
It could be
in some of these schools.
Could be a few orange ones available with the paper mache and the balloon that you blow.
Yeah. I remember. I can't remember what age that was, but. Yeah, that was always fun. So, Okay, well, we'll go to another track. Dance With Me Tonight with Ollie Murs. We were talking off air about how Ollie is on The Voice, and don't know if anybody's watching it, but he's such a fun character. I do like him. He's bringing quite a bit of life and fun to the show this season. So back on the Indie Author Show on Calon FM. And you're listening live. We are fortnightly on Wednesdays from 12 to 1. And then you can listen again. If you go to calonfm.com and click on Wednesday's show, the Indie Author Show, and then you can listen again. So from Thursday, from tomorrow, right up until my next live show, which is in 2 weeks' time, you'll be able to listen to Sarah as often as you want. And Sarah, you have to share this out on social media. What is your Facebook page, by the way?
It's Sarah Isaacs Author. So you'll find me at Sarah Isaacs Author, and there's usually I'm usually on that page quite often. So you'll probably find quite a lot of things I'm up to there, or photographs, or places I'm going to. So yep.
And then Twitter, have you been using Twitter much?
Yeah, I have actually. Twitter was a new one, a fairly new one to me. I'm still learning on Twitter.
Yeah.
I know I'm still learning, and but it's great because it kind of restricts you in some respects. It sort of says this: you've only got so many words.
Yeah, so many characters.
It enables you to write what you need, say what you need.
Well, I always encourage our authors to be on Twitter, and a lot of them are like, "Ooh, what do I do on there?" So it does take some practice, but there's a lot of book bloggers, a lot of authors are on Twitter. So really, if you want to keep your name out there, I mean, you've had your online launch. What date was that?
That was on Tuesday, the 6th of February.
Yes, and you were in the top 20.
I was.
So
it was lovely.
Very exciting, isn't it?
It was, in particular, as that particular day. I actually, in one of my categories, I sold more than Michael Morpurgo and Terry Pratchett.
Oh, well done.
I might not ever be able to say that again, but I can say that happened to me, and that's my sort of claim to fame at that point.
Well, hopefully you took a screenshot of that.
I certainly did, yes. I'm going to frame it.
Well, if any of our listeners are wondering what an online launch is, basically what we do is we choose a day, usually a day when you're available, when you're not working, because you do need to kind of talk back and forth with the people that are engaging with you on social media. So we set it up on Facebook, and we just say, we push out that's kind of the first day that we encourage people to buy the book.
Absolutely.
And for most people, they don't really understand how Amazon works. But if your book gets in the top 100 of you're in 3 categories. So if your book is in the top 100, you are on Amazon bestseller list.
That's right.
So
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, and but so it's quite interesting. I need to tell the authors to take a screenshot before they do that, because you're often, in the category, you might be number 3,425, and then on the day of your launch, because everybody's buying your book, and Amazon kind of, their algorithms, they notice that activity. So they say, oh, that book is popular, so we're going to move it up the charts. So it's a bit of a game in a way, but it's also, it's fun and it's good for you because, as you say, you could get ahead of some of those really well-known authors.
Absolutely.
And sorry, I've got a bit of a cold today. So and that's where we take the screenshot so that we can see, I'm there. But so when you've gone from, as I say, maybe 3,425 position, and now you're number 15, that's really cool.
Yeah. No, it was great. It was really interesting, and I had a really, really busy day that day, but I didn't realise, how manic it would get sort of on social media. Different people were putting on there, I've bought my book, and then underneath somebody else, I've ordered it too, and then, you're thinking, wow, and then I'm sort of looking at my sort of my Facebook page, and then my personal Facebook page, and then I was looking at Twitter, and then people were ringing me up, and it was just...
And then I was taking screenshots and messaging you.
It was just absolutely crazy. I was going, oh my goodness, So it was fun and exciting, and
good. Well done. Well done.
Good.
The thing is that the trick really is trying to keep you up there. So again, it's, as I said, it's something that you can once you're a bestseller, you're always a bestseller. You've been there, so you can't take that title away from you. So we use it for marketing. We use it just for promotion, and you will tend to drop down again, but that's only because there's not been a lot of activity on your account on that day. So that's where the social media marketing comes in. That's very important, is that we need to keep the awareness up, because once your friends, your family, and maybe their friends and family have bought the book, okay, now we need to get to the readers that you don't know.
Yes.
And that's where going into the schools really helps. You'll obviously have a supply of books that you take into the school that the parents will know about it in advance, and the children can bring in their orders and buy the book, because that's a bit fun, because then you're signing the book.
Yes, that's right.
But again, it's like keeping the momentum, getting it out there for the children who don't live close enough for you to go into their school.
Yeah.
So it's like a two-pronged approach, isn't it?
It is, and I think also there's that sort of special moment where I think all children like to have a visitor in school. It's sort of a bit different for them than the normal daily
I think the teachers
routine.
like it too, don't they?
And the teachers, they can take a step back and just have a little bit of a rest. Yeah. But I think also the idea that somebody who's standing in front of them that has actually written a book, whatever book it is, whatever person it is, but they are real, and those books were written, and it also inspires them. And of course, nowadays we're trying to motivate children to read so much more, and inspire them to become writers. And the more they read, obviously, the better their writing becomes. So it's schools are, really are sort of pushing for a lot, better readers basically, and inspiring them, motivating them to get something to read that they're interested in.
Yeah, and I know a couple of our authors, I'll have to share this with you later, Sarah, is they take in some sort of blank sheets. So we've talked about the colouring in. I know some of our authors will take in a colouring in sheet as well for the kids to take home with them. But also, it's surprising. And, you said you can't draw. I can't draw. Oh, my gosh, I'm so terrible. My stick men even look terrible. But... So a couple of our authors are encouraging the kids who maybe aren't great writers but are good illustrators. Yes. So they've got pages to give to them to get them to draw their version of the character. So they're bringing in it'd be wonderful if our illustrators such as Lisa, Holly, Alan, Carol, if they could go with our authors, but obviously they can't because they all live at different places, and Carol actually lives in France, so that wouldn't be too easy. But it's about inspiring them to believe that maybe if they're not great storytellers or great writers, they might be great illustrators.
Yes, absolutely. I think there are some resources that I've just been putting together recently. Funny you should mention that. And one of it is Design Your Own Alien. And I've just put that together so that if teachers wanted to use that and link it in with a lesson after I'd left, then so on, that'd be fine. And I think also a little book review where they can, for the very young ones, I like they could put down I like the book because, and they might have one sentence. The best bit was, but also as sort of an empty diagram of a book where they can sort of draw, instead of put Derek the Alien and the Orange Jelly Planet, which is quite long, they could perhaps just draw a little picture on there to say, what book they'd actually reviewed. So funnily enough, I've got a few different, I think it must be the teacher in me, sort of preparing my lessons again. And I've got those as an option for teachers to use after my visit has come and gone.
Well, and the more sort of tricks you've got in your box, if you know what I mean, because every school is different, and you get different. I'm sure you'll find this. You'll get different reactions from different schools. So if you've got kind of this little bag of tricks, then you can pull. Oh, children, let's do this. So and the teachers will tell you. They may say to you, "Oh, I've got this child who's just in the classroom who's just loves to draw." So then you can kind of tailor it and talk to that child about the illustrations and so on. So really good.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely.
So you live in Shropshire, and so you've got a few schools lined up.
I have, yes.
In March, we do have Easter. So Easter's early this year, so you've got the Easter break, which is taking out a couple of weeks there, but
that's it. I've focused at the moment. I decided to first of all focus on my online launch. Then I thought, right, I'm going to focus on going into schools, which I think I've got about four or five schools, but I've also got on the 3rd of March my physical signing. So I'm going to Bridgnorth Library, which is brilliant because it's my local library, so it'll be great for me to sort of just go to my local library and promote my book, but also 10:30 on the morning I shall be doing storytelling. It's a sort of meet the author storytelling, buy the book if they want to, 2-hour slot at Bridgnorth Library, so that'll be great. Me going there, so I've got quite a lot packed into March, and I need to really focus on April next. And obviously further afield, further on from that. But
I think the momentum will build for you. You'll start to get some confidence. Because I know everybody says, what do I do? And different schools are different. But by the time you've done 3 or 4, I'm sure you'll say, okay, I've got. You'll have your own little routine that you do. So,
and I think also whatever happens in your head, you think, right, this is what I'm going to do, because I've got a what I call my space box. So it's Derek's space box, and it's got lots and lots of alien pictures all over it. And inside we've got things like moon rock, things that Derek's collected, and of course not forgetting Jelly, and Derek himself. So I've got lots of things to sort of bring bring to the children, make it very interactive.
Now, if we've got listeners who listening that are writers, but of novels and so on, they're probably thinking, oh, well, that's not what I do. I don't go into schools and so on. But the reason why we encourage children's authors to go into schools is because we want to encourage the children to have this love of reading.
Yes,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is another way of making sales, of course, and there's other things. We've got we'll have some of our. Sorry, I'm just struggling with my cold here. We'll have some other authors coming in and talk about what they do for marketing of their novels, but we'll just. Because there are other things that you can do. You can go to, even for children, you can go to, you don't have to just go to schools. You can go to Brownies and Cubs groups, because they have reading badges.
They do.
That they have to earn. So there's lots of kind of, wherever there's children, there's toddler groups, there's nurseries, there's play barns, there's schools, there's brownies, cubs, beavers, whatever. You know, there's so many opportunities. So if you are a children's author and you're listening to this and you've never done any of this, you can get in touch with me. You can just go to the Facebook page at the Indie Author Show. But Team Author is putting together some marketing ideas, marketing and PR. But again, for the people that are have published novels, there's groups that are, you know, depending on what your novel's theme is, you know. So if you're sci-fi, there's probably loads of sci-fi things happening in your community or not too far from you that happen throughout the year. So that's where you need to start to get your name out. Women's institutes are always loving authors to come and talk to them about their book, and depending on the topic again. So, you know, there's loads of different things that you can do to market your book. You just do it in different ways. But I have to say, I've seen from helping and supporting authors over the last couple of years that really there's no substitute for social media.
Yes, that's right.
You know,
that's right. Absolutely. There was no way that I could have done what I did on Tuesday on my launch.
Yeah.
You know, without social media, or you know, the amount of people that I know. There's no way that I could have got it out to them to tell them what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Without that social media, there's just no way.
Some people think it's the devil, and
Yes,
maybe
the devil
to some degree, social media can be the devil. But you know, we need to use it for its positives, and used in the right way. It can be very, very useful. So again, that we do support people in their social media. We do training, and we have, you know, as I said, training courses, workshops. Jen Kiermaz is our social media guru. So we do several workshops that people could come and learn, and we're going to be doing some stuff online as well. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't fear. Don't fear this bit. I get this so often. People say, okay, I've written the book, and whether it needs illustrations or not, that's sort of a side thing as to whether we need the illustrations. But the easy bit really is getting the book published. The hard bit is marketing it.
Absolutely, I agree.
So, Sarah, we've got, you know, just a few minutes left here to chat. We just want to look into a little bit of the marketing side. You know, we talked about your online launch. We've talked about going to schools and all the little, you know, goodies that you can take in your space box with you. You're doing brilliant in that you've got your characters, you've got some materials that you can leave behind with the teachers. So, you know, really, one of the things we've actually been talking about as we have a big group of growing authors now, don't we, is leaving reviews. And that can be a really difficult, not difficult, but it's just, people think, oh, it's time consuming, I'll go and leave that review, but I don't have time right now. But the thing is that you need to remember is you don't have to write an essay. You don't have to write a book. You can just kind of give the person 4 or 5 stars. It doesn't have to be 5 stars all the time either, you know. But just write even one line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I thought that when you write in a review, you wanted to sort of write a bit about the everything from the book cover to how it ended to the characters, and you start thinking to yourself, oh, I've got to do another one. And well, actually, no, you don't have to do that.
No,
exactly like you said. And somewhere like Amazon makes it really, really easy.
Yeah.
2 or 3 lines. You've said what you're going to say, and it's kind of like a thank you to the author that you've bought their book, and you know. You enjoyed it and you just want to say so. So it really, really helps the author, absolutely.
Well, and as I was talking earlier, is that you have this launch day, as we described, you know, so you've got your online launch day, whatever the day that you've chosen, and all this activity is happening on your Amazon page. Then things start to, you know, a week goes by and then things start to dry up a little bit. So that is one way that you can then help that author, because Amazon isn't looking just at purchases. They're looking at activity. So who's going to your page? There's reviews are being left and so on. And I think I can't remember if it's 30 or 50. I must look this up because I did know, and now my head's saying 30, and then little piece in the back of my head saying, no, it's 50. But anyways, when you get to a certain number of reviews, all of a sudden then Amazon elevates you to a new level.
Okay.
So if, for example, you say somebody bought, well, let's say Lammy, astronaut Lammy, because
Yes.
it's a space book, right?
Yes, that's
so
brilliant.
it will be in the same category as Derek the Alien.
Yes.
So if your book is at a certain level of reviews, if somebody buys Astronaut Lammy from Jude Lennon, then your book could show up as people who bought this book may like.
of
You know, if you've ever
course,
used
yes.
Amazon and you see that all of a sudden these books start to
do.
show up. Well,
You do,
so these are all the little things that happen behind the scenes.
Okay.
So it is very important to leave a review, and it is, you don't want to be mithering your friends and please, please, please leave me a review. And actually, you know what? I've just got an idea. I think what I'm going to do. No. Take that word think out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little guide sheet for our authors to help them, maybe that has a little message that you can send to your friends and family about how to do the review.
That'd be
because
brilliant.
because if you just say, oh, could you please leave me a review, everybody's thinking the same as you.
True.
Oh God, I haven't had time to read it yet, or I don't know, I don't. A lot of people, they like to read, but they don't know how to write. Like even me, I go in and I go to leave a review and I'm thinking, oh gosh, what should I write?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be War and Peace.
Yeah. No, I think that'd be a brilliant
yeah.
idea. Really, really helpful for people.
Yeah,
And
because it really is.
I'd certainly,
Okay, good.
I'll be the first person that you give one of those to. So
Good.
absolutely, yeah.
Well, so yeah, I'll do that. And just, do you have any questions from a marketing point of view? Is there anything that's been
I think marketing, is, so for example, I have got a lovely morning with the children at the library, as I mentioned earlier, and I think you kind of put everything on social media, and then you contact the local newspaper, which I've done. I've explained what I'm about to do and that I'm local, and then of course I think it was yesterday afternoon I suddenly stopped and I thought, well, what else? I've told my friends, they've told their friends, I've put the event out, I've spoken to them at the library, they're putting out posters, and I've got in touch with the newspaper. So it's kind of, you start to think now, where else can I kind of go? Where can I turn? And I suppose it might then be, like you mentioned earlier, the local creche, nursery type places.
especially during half term.
Yes.
Because, a lot of, as a mum yourself, you know what it's like. Okay, you've got a week ahead of you and you're all excited and you're going to do all these things with your kids. By about day 3, you're saying, get me out of here. And then you go to the play barn, right? So the play barns are very, very full. And they often will have things happening. So I think, you should look at what's happening in your local play barns during the Easter holidays.
I think I will, yeah. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to put that
And
on my
you know
list
where
too.
else you could go? I've had this conversation with Sarah Griffiths as well, is go to the garden centre.
True.
Okay, because they are always looking, they want to bring the families in.
Yes.
So if they have something to entertain the children,
Yes.
then mum and dad or mum or dad can come into the garden centre. They will buy some plants, but children are happy because they've got an activity to do.
That's very true. Yes. Oh, that's a couple of things I'll be looking at.
Okay.
That's going to go on my list.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so this, you really just have to think. So for children's authors, you just need to think about where are these kids? Okay, they're in school.
Yes.
If they're not in school, they're in nursery or they're in a play barn if they're preschool age. So where are they then during half term?
True.
School. So you just start to put that head on and then start writing it down, writing down thoughts and ideas, and you'd be surprised. And look in your local newspaper will probably have what's on.
Yes.
In the newspaper. I'm not that familiar with Bridge North, but if you they will have things happening that you can just tag along with. So you don't have to be reinventing the wheel. It could be, a theater group, and you're into theater. We haven't even talked about that. Your background is drama. Yes. So, you're going to have no problem I'm talking to these children because of your drama background. But, think of all the things that are happening and tag along with that. Look on social media, to see what's happening to do with space. Is there anything maybe, how far are you from Birmingham? Is there anything going on to do with space? Then tag on to what other events are happening that have the same theme.
That's got me thinking.
Yeah, so now
I'm not going to rustle in my bag and get my piece of paper.
Yeah, no. Well, I was going to say you said you had an afternoon that maybe wasn't quite too full anymore. So maybe
I think that's where I'm going to next. So I think you do need to be just inspired, and that's where you've come in absolutely every time with Team Author. Is that you think you can kind of handle the book and all of the different things, but really there's no way I would have done it in the way that it has been done, without Team Authors. Absolutely no way. So it's been absolutely fantastic. And just sitting here, just in those few minutes, you've given me inspiration to carry on and have a hook into something and, go forward with that. So, amazing. Brilliant.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think that's what we do is we get sort of pigeonholed, and we think, okay, well, we'll do what we know. And you're a teacher, and drama's your background as well, and so that's what you know.
That's right.
But then you just kind of have to think outside the box a little bit. So
yes, that's
good.
True.
I'm glad that I've inspired you. Well, we're going to close the show now with "Jar of Hearts" by Christina Perri, which is another kind of little love song. And I just want to say again that your Facebook page is at Sarah Isaacs Author. And then Twitter, just because Twitter you can't have as long of a handle on Twitter as you can on Facebook. So it's at Sarah Isaacs A, which is the A stands for author.
Yes.
And then you also have a website.
I do, yes.
Which is, again, very, very simple. Sarah Isaacs with an S, sarahIsaacsauthor.co.uk. So if you can go to any of those, you can find out what Sarah's doing. You can send her a message. If you maybe a local primary school in Shropshire or Cheshire.
That's right.
A Wrexham area, that's close enough for you to come to. Just get in touch if you'd like Sarah to come to your school. And again, look on Amazon for Derek the Alien and the Orange Jelly Planet, written by Sarah Isaacs. So you should be able to find it. And this beautiful green-headed alien with an orange tummy will be looking out at you. And just to say, on Facebook, we are at the Indie Author Show. So have a look on there to see who our guests have been and who's coming up. I'll post some photos. I'm going to take some photos of the space slug here with Derek and with the microphone. So I'll post that later. And just also enjoy your Valentine's Day, whatever you're doing, everyone. I know Valentine's Day isn't always, it's somewhat commercial, and but it is just a chance to tell the person that you love that you do love them. I have a special thing. What happened to me was I got engaged on Valentine's Day. So I always thought, Valentine's Day will always be special because of that. And then 2 years after that, after I was married and so on, I had my first child on Valentine's Day. So here I thought I would never be able to top that. And then I topped it again. So Maddie, who is now 19, happy birthday, Maddie. I love you loads. And you're down in Leicester at the University.
Happy birthday.
I just about to say the University of Leicester. She's going to kill me. She's not at the University of Leicester. She's at De Montfort. She's at De Montfort University. And that actually, funnily enough, is where Lisa Williams went to.
Did she?
Yeah, the illustrator of your book went to De Montfort.
Oh.
So a lot of
all the talented people.
Yeah,
go there.
talented,
Clearly,
special people go to De Montfort. So just a little shout out to Maddie. Happy 19th birthday. And Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, and good luck with Derek. And I look forward to the next adventure and find out what he's up to in space. So we'll talk to you all again in a couple of weeks' time.